Hello, welcome to the 2019 Dams Challenge brought to you by BWA. My name is Bill Hayes. I'm the event manager for this year's event. The event management company that I work with, RD Events, have managed the last two Dams Challenge events, and this one again promises to be as exciting and challenging as the last events have all been. Today we're just going to go through a quick few key points that you need to know. One, to complete your registration, where the event goes, where and when you can get hydration and nutrition, and any of the issues that we need to raise with you prior to the event. We'll just work through step by step. Obviously the first thing is registration. The rider pack collection will be the same as 2018, which means you'll need to attend the Leederville Sporting Club on Cambridge Street. There's ample parking there at the rear on the bowling club area. The collections occur between Friday 11 AM to 5 PM or Saturday 8 AM to 12 PM. So those times are quite strict: Friday 11 till 5 PM, Saturday 8 till 12. What is essential is that everyone gets their pack collected pre-event. There'll be no registration at the venue on Sunday, obviously with a 6 AM start. Pretty early, not a lot of light around, so everyone needs to collect their pack before. If you have your friend's number and registration details, you can pick up theirs as well. So again, Leederville Sporting Car Club on the Friday or Saturday prior. The event venue, or event village as we refer to it, is again at the Champion Lakes Regatta in Champion Lakes, Armidale. You'll need to be there nice and early. The parking for the venue is off Champion Drive, which is the western side of the Rowing Regatta Centre. There'll be plenty of volunteers standing out there in the dark with torches to direct you in where to park. You'd want to give yourself at least 15 minutes to get from your vehicle around to the start line, and the start times are quite early. We'll start, the 5 dams will roll out from 6 AM with a riders briefing, a compulsory riders briefing at 5:40. So at 5:40 you need to be in on the island of Champion Lakes, ready to go, paired up with your friends, group, buddy, partner, whoever you're going to ride with, and at 6 o'clock we're out the gate. Because of the time, lights are essential for the 5 dams competitors. You need a front light and tail light. There will be some ambient light by the time you're out the gate, so you won't need the headlight too much for vision. It's more to obviously warn motorists that you're in the area. So as I said, 5 dams challenge starts at 6. The 2 dams will then start at 7 AM with a 6:40 briefing, and that'll be followed by the 3 dams event, which rolls out at 7:30, and their briefings at 7:10. Okay, the format for the events, the timing in particular, is to minimise any safety overlaps on course, and the reason the 3 dams starts that hour and a half later is primarily to ensure the 5 dam riders have completed their dogleg into the pipehead. So the Serpentine pipehead, which is just north of Serpentine Dam, is only ridden by the 5 dams competitors, so they need to go in and out on that part of the course and safely back onto the main course before the 3 dams arrive. Also, there's a bit of an area on Bedfordale Hill where we don't want any risk of 5 and 3 dams competitors turning across the front of the 2 dams riders. So there's been a lot of input about the scheduling, and I assure you there's been a lot of pace matrices made to make sure it's safe for everyone, and that's the reason for the start times. Moving along, the next section we get to is what you get at your registration. So the rider pack that you collect will contain your timing chip, which is obviously rather crucial. The timing chips are built into your number that's to be affixed to your seat post. The instructions will come with that. You'll receive some Winners products from our product supplier for your nutrition and hydration. There'll be a waterproof pouch, slightly bigger than a mobile phone, which is obviously ideal to put your mobile phone in. And then every competitor this year will receive a colour-coded wristband. The colour will be coded to the event you're in, but it will also have the emergency number for any issues that occur during the ride. You'll get that band at registration and hopefully wear it from then on. We'll place the bands on once you turn up at registration. These bands are waterproof, etc., so you can wear them in the shower. You must start the event with your band on. but probably most importantly for most of us, that band is what gets you lunch at the end of the event. So when you present at the catering area at Champion Lakes following your journey, they'll remove that band and hand over a nice lunch for you to consume. Now, when you attend registration, if you're not 100% certain on the course, obviously in the lead up to the event we'll supply you with the GPX files for your appropriate equipment that you use on your bikes, Garmin's, etc. If not, there's turn-by-turn instructions that will also be available for collection at registration. I've spoke about the lights a little bit. What we'd also like to do, in addition to the 5 Dams competitors, we'd like all competitors to at least run a tail light. In particular, the section of road on Albany Highway is obviously quite dangerous. It's normally a 110 kilometre zone. We've been very lucky to reduce that to 80 kilometre zone for the event, but we'd still like everyone to run with the tail light during that section if possible. Everyone will be timed. The chip is a disposable chip on your timing number, so you don't have to worry about returning that, but obviously through our timing provider Blue Chip, there's a web-based tracking system available that you or loved ones can search for you, and you can ensure you check into the various dam points along the way. Okay, so the courses are identical to last year. We've just recently been out and checked them. The roads are in good condition. There are some minor roadworks heading into Serpentine Dam, but I don't think that will affect any riders or any times for those important on time. The 5 Dams this year is 205 kilometres, the 3 Dams is 134 kilometres, and the 2 Dams as our entry level event is 53 kilometres. Okay, the most important thing for most of you is where can you fill up water bottles and get more to eat. As per last year, I'll go through the 5 Dams event first. The first stop for them is Serpentine Dam, which is at about the 60 kilometre mark. Next on from there is the junction of Albany Highway and Jarrahdale Road, which is at about 90 kilometres. Then the 5 Dams competitors will head into the lunch stop at Wollongong Dam. Now the lunch stop is your timed in and out, so you can stop a bit longer at the lunch stop if you want. It doesn't affect your overall time if you stay there a bit longer. Obviously all the other stops on course, your time continues. Once the 5 Dam people leave Wollongong, you've got to stop only about 15 kilometres away if you choose to use it at Churchman Brook, and then we've added a new stop for 2019 at the base of the hill on Walshpool Road. For those of you who train or ride in that area, you'll know the Fish and Bird place with the dinosaurs. You pull into the car park there and there'll be drinks and nutrition available there. Following on from that, the last stop for the 5 Dammers, or the last chance to stock up on some refreshments, will be Canning Dam once again, once you've gone over the dam wall. 3 Dams, pretty similar. Your first stop will be Serpentine Dam, then again at Albany Highway and Jarrahdale Road. Wollongong Dam will also be your lunch stop or your large food stop if you get there earlier, and then Churchman Brook will be your 4th opportunity to replenish. For the 2 Dams, first stop for them will be Churchman Brook. That's only about 12 to 15 kilometres into your journey, and then the second one for them will be Canning Dam, just before you descend the hill to home. So that's all for nutrition wise. We'll talk a little bit more about product availability soon, and there'll be more info in your rider guide with that. Okay, moving along. First aid. If for any particular reason you need first aid, hopefully that won't be the case, but St John's are a big supporter of our event and are very active throughout the course. The 3 and 5 Dams will have an ambulance behind them at all times, so if you do have an incident, just be mindful there's an ambulance coming, so you don't need to worry too much. Also, the event village, Wollongong Dam, Serpentine and Churchman Brook will all have static posts, so if it's something minor and you just need a band-aid or something like that, if you can get yourself to one of those stops, there'll be people there to assist you. Otherwise, as I said, if you are involved in an accident or you come across one that needs a little bit more attention, obviously the first thing we want you to do is ring the emergency number, but the second thing is if you remain there, the ambulance will be coming along behind you. Mobile phones. While reception is a bit limited, especially in the early part of the course, we expect everyone to carry a mobile phone with them, and we expect you all to make a note of the emergency number, which is 0411 426 742. If for any reason you have to withdraw from the event, we need you to SMS the event control on that number. Advise them of your location, advise them of your entry number and name, and the reason for your withdrawal. If it's a case where you need transport, obviously there will be a sag wagon at the back of the event. There will be a minibus with some refreshments and a trailer to take your bike. The standard procedure with that is they'll take you to the next dam stop or aid station, where you'll be able to call someone to come and retrieve you. Depending on where we are, you can probably just stay in the bus until we get closer to town. As I said, mobile phone is a little bit limited, but we still want you to send those messages if possible, because your phone will connect and send them when you're in the area. Okay, I just want to stress a little bit on this notifying of us of withdrawal. We've had issues in the past, in particular when the event used to finish in the city, or in most recent times it was in Curtin Uni in 2017. Unfortunately, some of the event management crew spent a considerable amount of their time in the dark, reverse route or riding in the reverse route along the bike paths, trying to find two competitors that had obviously gone through the checkpoint in Baldivis but then disappeared. So it turned out after about an hour and a half of searching that they decided enough was enough, and they jumped on the train and were sitting at home in front of their TVs trying to relax. So please, it's crucial that you tell us that you've pulled out. We're very conscious of making sure everyone comes home safely, so if you can let us know if that problem occurs, that would be most grateful. Thank you. Okay, the next subject is mechanical presence. Our great associate John from Bike Fix Mobile, who's involved with all the DAMS events and in fact in all the BWA events, he will be there again. He'll be at the event village for the start, nice and early, so if you get out of bed and you find there's a problem with your bike, don't panic, just bring your bike down and don't forget your credit card, and he'll be at the start. John does this labour-wise free of charge, but obviously he has to cover his costs on parts, etc. So if you're in a position where you need to get something from John, make sure you've got some money to fix him up, or do so shortly after. Once the event starts, John will move locations to the Wollongong Dam lunch stop. So again, if you have a mechanical issue and you can get to Wollongong Dam, he'll be there to help sort you out. On course though, there's minimal mechanical help. Our motorbike marshals, who normally monitor the front and rear of the event, will carry some tubes and some gas cylinders, but obviously being on a motorbike, they can't carry too much. And there's no support vehicles. Unlike the Tour de France, you can't just put your arm in the air and hope that someone's going to pull up and give you a free bike to ride the rest of the journey. So you need to be mindful. Tubes and gas cylinders will be available, but anything else you'll have to fend for yourselves, or get yourselves to the Wollongong Dam lunch stop. Broom wagon. We will run a broom wagon as all of the BWA events. This will be a minibus, and we'll follow the last rider who is inside the time cutoff on each category. If at some point you decide you can't go on for whatever reason, be mechanical or physical reason, all you need to do is stop on the side of the road. The guys in the broom wagon will pull up and check on your welfare. If you decide you want to continue on anyway, but you're outside now the cut-off times, you'll be asked to hand over your number and your details will be noted. But at that point, you're on your own effectively. So if you're at a point where it's a physical thing and the broom wagon has caught you, I would suggest you seriously consider getting into the broom wagon. They'll take you again to the next checkpoint. If it's prior to lunch, they'll probably stop at Wollongong Dam, where one, you can replenish the food stores, but also ring a friend to come and pick you up closer to town. They do not have full mechanical support in the broom wagon. I have to make that very clear. We've had a few issues with that over the years. The broom wagon is simply there to pick up people who cannot go on. They're not there as bike mechanics to help you go further. If they can help, they will, but obviously you've got to be mindful of that. It's not a fully supported event. Directions. Quite important that you spend some time studying the supplied maps for your event. If you are not in a position to download these maps to a device, you need to have a good understanding of where they go. They're very clearly signposted. We use several hundred of the BWA arrows, which are a large blue hexagonal arrow with a white or yellow arrow on top of the blue. They're placed in all appropriate corners. If it's a crossroad and you're due to go straight on, there'll be one there indicating to go straight on. But please make a good note of where the course goes. If you're riding with a buddy, maybe the two of you concentrate on different parts of the course so you know where you're up to. There is a couple of intersections where different events go in different directions. So just be mindful of the fact that in this area the signs are colour-coded. The 5 dams obviously orange, 3 dams are blue, and the 2 dams are green signs. So if you can keep an eye out for them, you shouldn't go wrong. Worst case scenario, you do a U-turn shortly after and rejoin the correct route. I'm sure you won't make the mistake and accidentally go on the 5 dams if you were just planning on doing the 50k of the 2 dams. Okay, a couple of the more pertinent comments that we need to talk about now is your behaviour on the roads. This event is held on open roads, so in other words we must abide by the traffic laws, 2 abreast maximum. We have to obey all street signs, stop signs, traffic lights, etc. en route. There's a couple of intersections where, for your safety only, we employ a traffic management company to help manage you through the intersections. For example, when you turn onto Brookton Highway and then immediately left into Peat Road, we'll have traffic controllers there to momentarily stop traffic so you can get around the corners quickly and safely, because you don't want to start Peat Road with no run-up, so we make sure you can get through that intersection a bit quicker. But please be mindful of traffic. It is not a closed road event, unfortunately. We would love it to be, but due to the 240 kilometres we traverse, the quote for that is about $260,000 to close the roads. So obviously it's not cost effective unless everyone wants to pay a $3,000 entry fee. So from that point of view, I just need to stress this too wide. A couple of areas to really note is obviously the Albany Highway zone between Jarrahdale Road and Bedfordale. It's 20 kilometres along the Albany Highway there. The normal speed limit there is 110 kilometres an hour. It is used by everyone, caravans, road trains, etc, etc. A lot of those people are used to travelling at 110 kilometres an hour along there. Police will be present to keep people under control, hopefully. All the signs are bagged off as a 80k only, as a temporary change in the speed along there. But this is quite an unusual practice for the main roads to award to an event like this. So we have to be mindful of doing the right thing. If we get echelons of bike riders spread 6 wide across the road because there's a bit of a crosswind, obviously this will affect the permit for later on and future events. And worst case scenario, if the police are there trying to control the vehicles for you and you're 6 wide, it's highly likely you'll end up with a ticket as well. So be respectful of the road rules. There is a shoulder. From previous events, the biggest complaint we have from motorists is when we're climbing. So if at all possible, when you're climbing hills, because of the lower speed obviously, if you can stay single file on the climbs, it'll be most helpful. We tend to get no complaints on the descents because we're normally faster than the cars, so that's a bit easier. But please, as you're climbing, try not to ride 2 abreast with your mate. Ride single file till you get to the top. If you can talk to each other, you're probably not trying hard enough on the climb anyway. Course information, as we go on over the next couple of weeks, there'll be regular updates. Obviously the rider guide, we'll talk a bit more about that, but if anything in particular comes up, keep an eye on the social media outlets for the event and obviously the website. As I mentioned earlier already, there's an issue with the road up into Serpentine Dam. We're in consultation with the traffic management company in that area, so if there's anything significant we'll let you know before the start, and obviously we'll update you in the briefing on the morning if there's any problems. The other point of concern that needs to be raised is our rubbish. We need to ensure that we don't litter the sides of the roads. Last year and the previous couple of years, the roads haven't been too bad, but there's been occasions where it's just been an absolute mess of empty gel packets, bananas, etc, etc. So guys, please be mindful to keep your rubbish with you. Should be plenty of room in your back pocket if you've taken a gel out and consumed it. It takes up a lot less space now that it's empty, so put it back in your pocket. And then at each aid station, if you stop to fill up bottles, etc, there'll be plenty of bins available for you to empty out your rubbish into the bins. The Shires are very conscious of this, in particular Watercorp. They've advised all their rangers to keep an eye on that, and if they see people throwing rubbish on the side of the road, they're to issue infringements no matter what. So please be conscious of that. In particular with Watercorp, obviously they're very concerned about any likelihood of contamination to their dams or waterways. So do the right thing and allow this event to continue for a lot longer. That's pretty much us now for today. As I said, the riders guide will have a lot more information. The only other subject I need to touch on is in relation to the actual running and coordination of the event. At this stage, we're now 2.5 weeks out from this year's dams. Exciting times for most. Some of you are about to start tapering for the event, and great excuses to eat lots and lots of bad food over the next couple of weeks while you carbo load. Volunteers are a problem. This event relies very heavily on volunteers. To complete the event successfully, we need 130 volunteers over the 3 days leading in, so volunteers for registration, and then the biggest issue we have is corner marshal volunteers. So 130 is the target. At the moment we're sitting at about 70, possibly 80 at the most, so we're quite short on volunteers. So if you've got a friend or relative who plan on coming to watch the event and want to see you out on course somewhere, if you could throw their name in the hat and get them to stand on a corner for a few hours, where not only will they see you, they'll see everyone else in the event. That would be most helpful. If you're competing in one of the longer events and your friend, partner, girlfriend, wife, husband, whatever was planning on sitting at Champion Lakes, we can supply them some food and a free t-shirt and get them to stand on a corner nearby. That would be most helpful as well. So if you think you know someone who might be able to help make this event happen, please get them to go on the website, find the volunteer link and supply their information, and one of the kind staff from BWA will be in touch with them and ensure they have a good day with a great spectator view of the event. That's all from us. We hope you have a great week. Leading in, probably the last couple of long rides this weekend, but concentrate on your nutrition, hydration, and we'll see you all at the dams in 2 weeks' time. Thank you.